What's good, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video. And I'm gonna keep it a bow, Brave Biscuit. This video is mad late, but I do have strong feelings on it, and I've been seeing comments and people talking about this a lot lately ever since the last game of the season. And I've had really strong feelings on this since even before the last two games of the season, even before the middle part of the season when we saw Kyle Allen really wasn't it, and around even the draft. Before the draft and right after the draft, I've been saying this consistently for the past, 8-9 months now, talking about Will Grier, and I'm starting to see what I knew would happen the moment we put him in, and the moment everyone realized that he just was not ready to play NFL football. And I'm just going to give you my opinion on why I believe that Will Grier was set up for failure from the very beginning by the fan base, the front office, and the coaching staff of the Carolina Panthers. But I'm going to start from the beginning and get my way to week 16 and 17 versus the Colts and the Saints, talking about Will Grier. Now, before the draft, in March and the earlier part of April, we were all looking at and making mock drafts, looking at prospects, talking about players, and talking about what the strengths were, what the weaknesses were, and we looked at things that players did on the college level that may have looked bad, but might have translated pretty well to the NFL level, and things that players did at the college level that looked really, really good that might not have really translated well to the NFL based off of schemes and that kind of stuff, and how college basically plays no defense look, no one in college plays any sort of defense. There's good defensive players, but there's not really that many full programs that are built around having a very, very good defense, and we get that. And Will Grier was one of those guys. Fourth in the Heisman voting, great, amazing, out of this world, universal stats. But I've been saying since before the draft, and then even just right after the day he was drafted, that Will Grier was not going to be a plug-and-play guy, a guy who was going to be ready to play at the NFL level at any point in his first year. And that's something that was said about him at the Combine, at the Senior Bowl, analysts, draft experts, if you can even call anyone a draft expert. But everyone who watched this game knew what was happening at West Virginia, knew that there were schemes drawn up for him where his receivers were just always wide open. He didn't have to make too many tight window kind of throws. He would try to sometimes, but for the most part, his weapons were wide open. He didn't have to make too many pre-snap reads. He had half the field to work with. This offensive coordinator just made the scheme very, very easy for him. He did not have to make that many decisions once the ball was snapped. He was looking in one direction, and for the most part, those guys just got open. And it was very clear to just about everyone who knew about Will Grier's game and actually watched how he played and watched how his head moved and how he didn't make that many reads, that he was not going to be all that ready for the NFL level. But we still saw people who were Panthers fans say, whoa, we got Will Grier. Maybe he can start over Cam no matter how healthy Cam is. It don't matter if Cam comes back 100% or not. Will Grier could be the guy for us. And then we saw in the preseason, Will Grier ain't look all that good. Actually, if you want to be real about it, there was a guy who was on our team in the preseason who got the least amount of playing time, who looked the best every single game we got into in the preseason. And if y'all been watching me for a while now, you know exactly who I'm talking about, but I'm over that. I'm past that. Our season was what it was. Could have been something different if we had that guy, but look, we're off that now. Will Grier showed that he was not ready in the preseason. He looked lost. Pressure got to him. He could not make reads. He did not look ready. He had some good plays and other horrible plays. You could just tell the kid was just not ready. So Cam is in there, gets hurt again after 2 weeks, and Kyle Allen comes on. Kyle has he had some good games where C-Mac is carrying the team and the defense is holding its own weight. But the second the defense stops being elite, and they were elite starting the year off, they were actually looking really, really good weeks 3 through maybe even 7 or 8, honestly. And then they fell off, the O-line fell off, and there was maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 games where C-Mac got stopped. And we saw that Kyle Allen could not carry a team. He could not make players around him better. And then we started to hear again from Panthers fans that Will Grier should start. Will Grier should get some playing time. Put Will Grier in and see what we have. When we already knew from before he was drafted that he was at least 1 year away. He needed to sit down for a full season, take notes, hold a clipboard, and learn on the NFL level before stepping on the field. But we still had fans talking about how Kyle Allen was trash, which Kyle Allen wasn't all that great, but they still wanted to see Will Grier out there, knowing what this offensive line was, An O-line that could not protect anyone, knowing the defense was so bad that even if Will Grier was the best quarterback in the league, we were not going to win very many games because the defense was going to give up points over and over and over again. We gave up 38 points to the Colts. Who does that? 38 points to the Colts, and Jacoby Brissett had a terrible game that game too. So, looking at that, a lot of fans asking for Will Grier to come in. They finally get their wish. And what do we see out of Will Grier in the 2 games he started? Week 16 versus the Colts, Week 17 versus the Saints. He goes 28 completions on 58 attempts, 4 interceptions, no touchdowns, and 6 sacks. And the last sack against the Saints gets him knocked out of the game, and he ends his season in a walking boot. And when that happened, all I could do was smile. Not because I wanted it to happen, not because I was happy it happened, but it's something that I knew was going to happen 3 weeks before we even put him in the game. I asked the question multiple times on my videos saying, what do Panthers fans really want and expect to see out of Will Grier? Do you A, think he's going to be the best quarterback in the league and have 300 plus yard games with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions? Or B, are you just curious to see what he might do behind a terrible O-line with a bad defense? Do you think he's going to win games for us? Do you think the O-line is going to start playing significantly better because it's Will Grier back there? I was just very confused what Panthers fans' curiosity was worth. Was it worth him going out there and getting injured? And apparently, people said yes. People didn't care if Will Grier would get hurt behind the O-line, and he got out there and he got hurt. But it wasn't just that Will Grier got hurt, because that was almost inevitable behind this terrible, terrible offensive line that we've never really had. We never had a good O-line in the last, you name it. But then I started seeing people call him garbage, call him trash, call him a bust, when honestly, what were you expecting to see? This was not a good offense. The play calling was horrible. The O-line play was bad. We saw DJ Moore go out in the first quarter, I think it was, versus the Colts because of a bad pass from Will Grier, which it was a hospital pass. It was not a very good pass at all. But if you knew that a guy would not be ready year 1, then you really can't call him a bust when you asked for him to play year 1 and the coaching staff in the front office puts him in year 1. And he does exactly what you expected out of him. Not every single quarterback who comes out of college is going to be a first-year starter. It's going to be a first-year great player. Some guys need a year or 2, maybe even a 3rd year to learn the NFL before they become really great players, before they can go out there and play and have the kind of experience to get on the field, make the reads, and pick apart defenses the way you expect them to. Just because we see some rookies go out there and do it doesn't mean that every single rookie quarterback that comes out of college is going to be ready to do that. The truth of the matter is, this coaching staff and this front office threw Will Grier under the bus. He was set up for failure from the very start by a coaching staff and a front office who, wait. Didn't they keep Cam Newton in way too many games after it was very obvious and very clear that he was playing way too hurt and he was just not good? At that point, he was way too hurt to play. You could tell he had nothing to give with his shoulder. It was just dead. It was not going to work for us. But they kept putting him out there for whatever reason. The Panthers organization is really horrible at managing players and really managing quarterback injuries. Or at least mitigating those injuries. Because obviously Cam was way too hurt to play. And obviously Will Grier was not ready to play at the NFL level. And even if he was, we have him on our roster. We have him under contract for 4 years. So why put him out there behind a bad O-line versus a Titans defense that wasn't all that great, but then turn around and put him against a Saints defense with Cam Jordan going against Dennis Daly? What did you think was about to happen? And if we can just go ahead and get past how wrong it is to call him a bust right now, given the circumstances of what happened this season and what the team was, if you thought he was a bust, then what you could do is not play him at all and then try to get a trade for him. Get a late 3rd, an early 4th from him, because that's what he was. He was a very, very late 3rd, a comp pick, or a very, very early 4th round pick for him. Ship him off to some other team that needs a backup, who's willing to bet on a guy who's maybe 2 years away at that point. Get what you can out of him in the offseason. Get an extra pick for this upcoming draft and come up off of that. Now, you've proven to all 31 other teams that Will Grier is at least a year away from being good, and when last seen was in a walking boot in the first quarter of a Week 17 game. So, first off, you put him in way too early when you knew he wasn't ready. People are calling him a bust now, which is going to hurt his confidence moving forward. And now you can't even trade him or get up off him because people have seen how he plays. And he got hurt. And that's how we look at and remember Will Grier right now. And it's nobody's fault but the fan bases and the coaching staff and the front office. He was set up for failure, and I have no idea what his future looks like. That's all I got for you, man. It's kind of a rant, but it's how I feel about it. Will Grier should not have been put in the game ever this season, but that's how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on Will Grier moving forward? Is he a bust? Is he not good? Is he not bad? Should we not have drafted him? Would he have been better if we had a year or two to keep learning, holding a clipboard, holding a Microsoft Surface on the sidelines, just to learn a little more of the game? What do you think about Will Grier right now? And do you believe he was set up for failure? What are your thoughts on him? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.